But let's start here. This house is home to dozens of people who don't know each other from countries all over the world. They're all waiting for news that can change their lives. I'm going to share with you their stories, but unfortunately, I can't show you their faces. It is too dangerous. This story is also very personal to me. I spend a lot of my free time in this house. Tucked in the shadow of the Ambassador Bridge, you would never guess from the outside what's happening inside Freedom House. The people who live here have been persecuted and often tortured in their home countries. It can be because of their religion, ethnicity, nationality, political opinion, or because they belong to a certain so-called social group, like the LGBT community, in one of the countries where being gay is illegal. We can't show you the faces of Freedom House residents, not because they've done anything wrong, but because their families back home are still in danger if anyone sees them on the internet.
Freedom House is the only organization in the nation that provides free of charge, under one roof, housing, food, basic needs, and then the legal aid, and then all the comprehensive services that one needs for an asylum application. They arrive, they're malnourished, they're dehydrated, they've been beaten, and so emotionally they turn inside themselves, so to speak. And so it takes some time for them to build this rapport of trust and confidence that things are going to be okay.
Thank you, Mom.
Residents call Executive Director Deb Drennan Mom Deb because Freedom House is a family.
Hi, sweetie pie.
A big family thrown together sometimes across deep historical divides like genocide.
At Freedom House, we have the Hutus and the Tutsis living together. And not only do they live together, but often they become such good friends. They room together, they do things together, they socialize together, they speak their native Kinyarwandan together. And then they become brothers and sisters. And so all of that happened back home. It dissipates, and then they recognize that there is possibility for peace.
Through Freedom House, residents get mental health and medical care, meals and clothing. They take English classes.
I got soaking wet. I got soaking wet.
And they get legal help to prepare their cases for the asylum-seeking process, which can take months or years.
It is very difficult to hear these stories. I think at some point we potentially do become a little bit numb to them, but then every once in a while there's something new that you haven't heard about. There's a new kind of torture that you could not even have imagined, and your client has gone through that. And so the first time you're meeting with them, you know, they're bearing kind of their soul to you, trying to tell you everything that happened, and you have to be strong as well to not potentially react and, you know, send them off into the deep end because you are having a breakdown because of, you know, things that happened to them. Our clients, most of them have been arrested several times because the people that qualify for asylum are kind of the movers and shakers in their country. They're the people who are not shying away from the chance of being threatened and the harm that could happen to them and their family. They truly believe in change, and they, you know, want things to be better in their countries.
That's what Zaini Atito wanted. Zaini works at Freedom House now, but when he arrived at the door 10 years ago, he had no idea what his future held. Zaini worked for the government in his native Togo.
I was a custom officer, and the way the politics is in my country was not democratic, so I refused to follow what they want me to do. So all this made me have a problem with my supervisor, that they put me in jail. They arrested me many times, and all this made me flee the country.
They threatened your life?
Yep. Because one day, if you are arrested, it doesn't mean that they are going to share you, beat you, torture you. That will make you change your mind to follow them. So something that I never accepted. That is why I left.
He left behind his wife and son, but Zaini got his asylum and was able to bring his family to the U.S. In 2012, he became an American citizen. Now Zaini helps the dozens of people currently living at Freedom House, some from parts of South America or the Middle East, but most from sub-Saharan Africa, like Pierre.
I came here at the winter. It's winter?
Yes, winter.
Winter. Hot. It is the first time for me to see snow.
What do you think of snow?
You see, sometimes we saw snow in the TV or like pictures. We like the color of snow. If you see all things white, you say, it's good. But if you are in snow, Oh, no. It's very, very real bad.
You don't like
Very
snow?
bad. I don't like snow.
I'm a Freedom House volunteer. I do whatever needs to be done around this house, from stocking the pantry to making sure the bedrooms are in order. But mostly I spend my time with my language partner, Pierre. He's from a French-speaking country in West Africa.
I got you a gift for your 40th birthday. You have to look at it.
You have to look at it first.
Thank you, Will.
You can't live in Detroit without
Whoa, it's a tiger.
Lion.
Lion.
Detroit Lions.
Detroit
football,
Lion is
it's
the football
team.
For the most part, residents only leave Freedom House to go to classes or religious services. So language partners are a chance for them to make an American friend, practice English, and have some fun.
What happened? What happened?
Please, don't touch any ball here, please.
I've been meeting with Pierre for months now. The cultural exchange goes both ways.
And then I tried to speak French to you. Mon français est très mauvais. I've been studying a little bit. I have a French dictionary. I bought a French book, so I'm going to be fluent by the end of the year in French. I'm going to be able to.
This year?
Freedom House has more than an 80% success rate in winning asylum cases. Residents must gather evidence of what happened in their home country to take to an American court. It can be very difficult, sometimes impossible.
The things they ask for, any documents from the police about your arrests and, all of the criminal charges against you. Well, they're illegal charges. There's no paperwork for the fact that you were arrested in the middle of the night and taken from your family home. And so it's always an issue of how do you prove anything.
Sometimes the trauma is so severe. Most times it's so severe, but in some it's so severe that the coping mechanisms are very challenged. And so it's not uncommon for someone to have a flashback during a case session or when they're doing an interview to just maybe pass out, just be able to put themselves unconscious, because that's a safer place to be than having to remember.
When asylum is granted, people can apply to bring over their families and finally begin a new life.
At Freedom House, we have had people come through who have PhDs in mathematics, PhDs in literature and history, surgeons, medical doctors, lawyers. We have now a house full of accountants, nurses, many professions. We have one resident who ran a medical facility much like DMC, but back in his home country in West Africa.
Once a month, we like to celebrate birthdays.
There's so much love in this house, it's amazing. And that's really it. I look at someone and I see them and I think what they gave up. And I have the privilege of welcoming them here. I can never make up for a whole family and for a professional wage and for a lifestyle. I can't make that up. But I can give them welcome and I can give them love and I can listen and I can engage them in serious conversations or silliness. We love to pull pranks around the house. And so, but I think for me the greatest thing when I'm walking and meeting people, when they left, for many of them, their scars, they're still visible and they need treatment right away. They're open wounds. And if you can imagine having to flee your country and the last touch you had was one of electrocution or one of brutality, the least I can do is greet somebody with a hug.
What do you think of America? I want to know that.
Oh, America, I always say this is the country that saved my life. Otherwise, I don't know where I will be now and my family will be now. So, America is a great country, and it's a country that I can say loves everybody.
The majority of funding for Freedom House comes from government grants and individual contributions. They also receive small grants from local foundations and religious organizations. To learn more about Freedom House or to get involved yourself, go to clickondetroit.com.